Hey guys, Rich from Rich Mid Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. And welcome to this Wednesday Night Live, our brand new bi-weekly show where we're going to be covering everything from Marvel Crisis Protocol, Shatterpoint, The Old World, and a little bit of everything else in between as well. I'm by myself for this one, for the inaugural episode. But if you guys could do the usual things and, make sure you've left a like in the chat and everything else like that, would be greatly appreciated. Of Elves and Ewoks. Yes, I think it may have been the sequel. So yeah, in this episode, guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update in terms of what we're doing, what I've been doing. I've got my little tray here of all things, well, not all things, but my old world stuff that I'm currently painting up. Going to go down next week, actually, next Wednesday, going to go down and try and have a game with Ron in person, which will be really good. But before we get into the old world stuff, I wanted to start out and talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol, and in particular, the timelines. I've had time, forgive the pun, but I've had time now to have a play. I actually hosted an event at the back end of last year, beginning of this year, and we're just about to get into the final round of that. So the final between David Miller and John Naylor. They've gone 5-0, I think, so far. So the way that it works, obviously, you have your 3 games or 6, depending on how many people are playing. And then you have a top 8 cut. So I did make the top 8 cut, but unfortunately I lost in the first round, and I actually lost to John in the first round, which is quite nice. It's at least I made at least I got beat by the person. Oh, sorry, I didn't lose to John. I lost to Leaf. Apologies. I didn't play John. Maybe I played John in the main part of the event, but I asked every single opponent, and I've also asked a few other people as well that took part in and played in the event itself. And the general feedback was pretty good. I thought it was better than what I thought it would be. I definitely don't think it's a game mode that will really take off hugely. I think people don't like to be restricted by what they do and or can and can't play. So yeah, I think for me right now, it's fine for those one-off big events as something a little bit different, but I don't think it's going to be something that you are wanting to be playing, as I say, week in or indeed week out. Are we going to be talking about Professor X? I assume then that we have had the Professor X card. So let's open this up and see what we have got. Panel to play Professor X. I will probably do a separate video on that, if it's okay. You guys have probably seen I did one on Bishop, I did one on Iceman. So I'll probably do a separate video on that rather than doing it. Do you know what? Fuck it. Right here, right now. Let's do it. So it's of Professor X, Elves, Ewoks. So let's do that. Let's jump in and let's take a look and let's see what we have got going on here. So, Professor X. Panel to play, Professor X. To me, my X-Men. For today's panel to play, we are looking at the introduction of a long-requested fan-favourite character. His team made a splash when they arrived in the game's second year, and now the founder of the X-Men is ready to hit the battlefield. Join us as we take a look at Charles Xavier, better known as fuck it, we'll do it live, as Professor X. So I've already said this before. I'm not a huge fan of the actual model. I would have much preferred to have the old school wheelchair. And I know AMG said many, many moons ago that they wouldn't do clear base things, but I'm definitely replacing this with a clear base thing. I just hope you can do it without too much trouble, because it's why would there be like a jet coming underneath? Like it just doesn't make any sense. His chair hovers. It's not propulsion or anything like, it's not rocket boosters or anything like that. So yeah, the model I'm a bit on. It looks too much like Murdoch for me. But we'll see. Let's take a look at his actual character card. Let's zoom in ever so slightly so we can see it better. So then, guys, Professor X. I do like the artwork on the card. It's very old school. It's very X-Men 97, which is going to be coming out next month, which I'm very, very excited about. I think the reuse of the Murdoch blast is just lazy. Completely agree, Troll. Professor X, aka Charles Xavier. He's a 2/2/6, as you would expect. Physical and energy not as great, but mystic very, very high. I'm hoping there is something in here that will counter that. 6 stamina on his front. Huge surprise here, guys, that he is only a 4-threat character. Very, very surprised. Magneto's a 5. Magneto is a 6 threat. That feels, yeah. I don't know how to feel about that. The fact that he's only a 4-threat character. Obviously, his card is, he could be a good 4-threat character. I haven't read his cards yet, but only being a 4-threat, I think they've missed out on a significant opportunity there to do something. Size 2, medium move, and I think he's on a medium base. Let's look at this again. It's really hard to tell. I think he's on a medium base. So medium base, medium move is fine. If he's medium base, small move, then I suppose it's still okay. But okay, let's have a look at his attacks. So his builder is going to be Psychic Dart. It's going to be range 4, strength 5, 0 cost. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. On a wild, he gets Root. After the attack is resolved, this character gains the Root special condition. That's quite interesting. I can't think of many attacks in the game that give out Root. It's usually done by a special ability or a tactics card or something like that. So I do like it. Root is an absolute pain. It really scuppers the bottom half of a character's tactics card, a character's character card. So yeah, it's fine, and for a 4-threat character, a range 4, 5 strength as his builder is absolutely fine. His first spender then, which is going to be another mystic attack, as you would expect, Mental Suggestion. Range 3, 6 strength, 1 cost. After this attack is resolved, if it dealt damage, you may advance the target character its speed. This is very, very similar to his sisters, Cassandra Nova. There we go, I had a brain fart there. But I don't believe she needs to do damage. This again is one of those areas where I feel like it could have been range 3, it could have been exactly as it is, but it could have been a guaranteed advance. And, you're starting to get into the realms of being able to push him up a level. So it's nice that it's got the advance. I would have much preferred it to be a guaranteed. Astral Duel then, which is going to be his bigger attack. It's going to be range 3, strength 4, 3 cost. Add dice to the attack roll equal to the target's mystic defense. The target cannot re-roll or modify dice in the defense roll during this attack. I do like this. There are not many characters who have a boost when it comes to mystic attacks in terms of, targeting mystic defense. So I do like that. We've seen it in a lot of defensive tech where you get extra tech, but I do really, really like this. The target character cannot reroll or modify dice during the attack is pretty darn good. Ignores cover. It does ignore cover, not effectively, but it does ignore cover. And turning off any rerolls can be really, really nice. It's important to note that it won't turn off things like, I think it's Ultron's got an ability, right, where he counts on mystic attacks, he counts wilds as 2 successes. It won't turn that off, but it will turn off everything else, which is pretty darn good. Okay, Phil said I'm going to be very excited about Xavier's at School for Gifted Youngsters. So 3rd leadership that we've had. I suppose technically the 4th leadership that we've had for the X-Men, because Scott has his old one and then his new one. Xavier at School for Gifted Youngsters, affiliation Uncanny X-Men. Once per turn, when an allied character spends 1 power or more to use an active or reactive superpower, after the effect is resolved, another allied character may gain 1 power. Ooh, that is spicy. So once per turn, so in yours and your opponent's, which is really, really nice. So if if you have any defensive tech or reactives that you're going to be using, it's going to work there as well. And the fact that it is board wide makes this really, really good. Really, really good indeed. I really like this leadership. Really, really like this leadership. It's a little bit different to what Scott offers. And what do I mean by that? Well, Scott has, I think Scott has more of a chance to be able to use turn 1 stuff. And what do I mean by that? Well, because he only needs to do attacks, you don't need power to do attacks. Most superpowers or most active or reactive superpowers are going to need typically 2 power, not always, but typically 2 power to make work. So, but then it's board wide, so you don't have to worry about restrictions of board or anything like that. So, yeah, there's going to be some characters in there who are going to sort of lean into this. Nightcrawler doesn't work. Who could work? Magic, for example, range 1 teleport to give herself a bump is one that could work. So you're guaranteed to then be able to get an extra power that you give to whoever it is you want to be able to do stuff. Turn 1. So yeah, I really, really like this, and the fact that it happens in your opponent's turn as well with defensive tech. So you've got Colossus in there potentially. Every time he uses his big brother or his Bosmoy or whatever it is, he's going to be able to generate power. Obviously restricted to once per turn. I do apologise, guys, as well. I've still got a bit of a cough at the moment. So yeah, guys, in terms of a leadership, really, really like it. Would I have liked something? So this is me being nitpicky now. Would I have liked something that was of a different flavour to Scott? Because obviously Scott, it's not the same thing, but it's power generation, which is what Scott has. I would have liked Wong passing 2 energy instead of... That's a really good point, Jashmir. That could be really good. Or indeed giving One power to two different people could be quite nice. But back to his leadership, I would have liked it to be different to Scott, and I get that Xavier is different to Scott, but his leadership is quite similar. I still think it's an amazing leadership. Oh, not amazing. I think it's a really good leadership. But I would have liked something a little bit different on that one. But that's fine. That's not a problem. You know, it is what it is. Professor's guidance. So he has no active abilities, but he does one reactive. It's going to be cost X. While another allied character within range 4 is attacking or defending during the modified dice step of the attack, this character may spend 1 to 3 power to use his superpower. For each power spent, the allied character defending. Sorry, the allied attacking or defending character may reroll one of its dice, can only be used once per turn. X-Men are going to love this. Wolverine is going to absolutely love this. This could be crazy. This could also work with Logan as well, because Logan needs to be outside of range 3, and this is range 4. But on those extracts where you are, you know, you're a little bit more bunched together and things, this could be absolutely brutal. We've seen it before. There's many characters out there with it. I expected him to have something like this because it's very, very Professor X-esque, and it's, you know, something that's already been in the game. So, yep, I think that's really good. My only concern, I suppose, you can feed power into Charles with all the superpowers that you're going to use. So that's pretty good. When an enemy character targets this character with an attack, it may use its Mystic Defense regardless of the attack type unless the attacker pays 2. So again, this for me makes it seem like Magneto's, and I suppose Magneto's helmet is technically more powerful than Professor X, but I would have liked this to have been the other way around. So again, I think this is another part of his card where you could have bumped it a little bit and said that he can pay 2 to use his Mystic Defense. I think would have been much better. Or to turn the attack, maybe what would have been that, you know, turn the attack into a mystic attack or something like that. Rather than it being the other way around, and rather than people being able to bypass it, because then all of a sudden he's a 2/2 and, you know, let's be honest, goes down like an absolute sack of shit. So yeah, little bit annoying that they chose to go down that route. But yeah, I suppose it is what it is. I don't, you know, for a 4 threat, this is fine. I just think Charles should be higher, 5, maybe even 6. He has no ability to, other than his mental suggestion, he has no ability to move people around the board. I would have much preferred him to have something that allowed him to do that a little bit more consistently. And again, I think that's another realm where they could have, you know, bumped him up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, for a 4 threat, I think he is absolutely fine. Personally, for me, I just wanted a little bit more from Professor X. I'd have liked his, you know, mystic defenses to have been better, harder to get around. And I think then you could have even bumped him up to being a 6 threat, for example, and still kept him at a 6 stamina on his front, because it doesn't matter as much. If his mystic defenses are really good and it takes a lot for your opponent to get around it, then I think that mitigates his health. You know, he has the health of a normal person, but it's those mystic defenses. Do you think he should have had mind possession like Cassandra Nova? Yep, something like that, mate. Something like that, Sean. So let me just put this into context, guys, and we haven't looked at the reverse side of his card yet. For a 4 threat, he's a very good character. He brings a great leadership. I would have really liked to have seen him bumped 5, maybe even 6. there is an argument to say he could have been higher than that. But let's say 6 threat, or 6 or 5 threat, and given him them two things. Mental suggestion is auto move, and then rather than telepathic lock, he has it the other way round. So yeah, like for a 4 threat, he's fine. Let's quickly check. I bet there's no difference on his reverse. Everything remains the same, but he loses a health. So he is 5 stamina. And that's the problem, is a 5 stamina 4 threat where you only need to pay 2 power to bypass his defenses. I mean, this guy can get one shot by many, a lot of 3 threats on the board that do big energy, or big energy, or big physical attacks. I would have also liked to have seen something on here, again, something else that bumps him up, something to mitigate collision, built-in brace or something like that. I think would have been very much needed, because I mean, you throw a couple of pieces of terrain at him and he's gone. Like, if you think about Professor X and who he is, right? His nemesis friend, but his counterpart, right? The yin to his yang, if you will, is Magneto. And Magneto pummels this guy into the ground. Professor X has nothing to stop anything that Magneto can do. And I think, whilst you don't just balance a character around one person, I think there should have been something in there, and there isn't. There just isn't. Magneto can just absolutely destroy this guy. And with the tactics cards that Brotherhood have got and things like that, unless you've got a Colossus nearby who's going to take the first hit, or a Honey Badger who can take the first hit or something like that. Actually, the more I think about it, guys, the more I'm not convinced I even like him. Don't get me wrong, his offensive side is okay, and things like that. Yeah, doing it, tactics cards are fine, but they are a one-off, one use. And only having... I just think they've really missed a trick with him. They could have easily made him a threat higher. There's already a 4-threat leader in X-Men. You've got a 3-threat, you've got a 4-threat. He could have easily been a 5-threat and been a character that could, at least to some extent, stand up against Magneto. But you put Magneto and these two against each other on the table, and there's only one outcome for this. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. What do you guys... Yeah, Gene should work on him because he's a creep. Absolutely, Justin. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below, guys. What are your thoughts? Let's just check. Definitely see him splashing into Convocation. If you switched around his defense power, then he would probably have needed to get more than 1 power per turn, and that would feel a bit busted. Gene should work on him because he's a creep like that. I feel like he's fine. That's how most of their fights go anyway, when Mags is getting a bit mad at him. I do, but I just think it's an absolute obliteration troll, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is my thoughts on Professor X. Didn't know we were covering it off. He doesn't use telekinesis in the comics, so I get why he didn't get some anti-collision powers. That's fair. I'm sure he has done at some point. Psychic shields or something like that. I don't know. I'll definitely be taking him for a spin. Like I said, I'm a little bit underawed with the model. I think the title Doctor Strange of X-Men fits. Yeah, he's going to be doing a lot. Who knows? Who knows? We'll get him. We'll get him on the table, and we'll see. We'll see what he can do. But look, I love the leadership. Really, really like the leadership. And this guy is going to be a back of the field, right? Chances are he's going to be your back point holder as well, which I think works fine. Maybe the mental domination or whatever card that makes him absolutely dunk on Magneto if he's very angry. Yeah, maybe it does, Derinator. Maybe it does. And obviously it is hard. And as always, I will hold full judgment until I've A, played with him fully, and B, seen his actual tactics card or cards. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, that is the Marvel Crisis Protocol part out of the way. So now let's have a little talk about Star Wars Shatterpoint. Because it's something that I have been, it's fair to say, I have been ignoring somewhat on the channel. And the reason for that, guys, has just been time. I just haven't had enough time. And then Old World came out, and then I kind of shit the bed a little bit and things. But we are covering Shatterpoint off. So I did want to use this opportunity. We're not going to do a full deep dive on all of the Ewoks because that would just take too long. But I've picked my favourite Ewok to have a look at on the video, which of course... And everyone's favourite Ewok should be is Wicket. Or Wicket Intrepid Warrior, I should say. So yeah, Wicket Intrepid Warrior. Let's have a quick look at his model, as we like to do. It's not there. Why do they do them the other way around on these? They haven't included his model on the page. Okay, there we go. So Wicket Intrepid Warrior. He's going to be a secondary unit, as we kind of expected. I think there's an argument to say that they could have gone down in one of the boxes and had a named, two named support units, but seeing him as a secondary unit, absolutely fine with that. No problems whatsoever. So he's going to cost 4. He obviously brings no force with him. Wicket Intrepid Warrior, and then he is obviously Wicket. He's a 9/2. 9 stamina, 2 durability, which is fine, absolutely fine. My favourite Ewok is Ewok Scout number 2. Excellent, excellent. So he has, and I have, it's been so long, he has an active ability. There we go. No, he has a tactic. Tactic? That's what that is. He has a tactic. Lead the charge. At the start of this unit's activation, choose an enemy character in line of sight and an allied Ewok supporting unit within range 3. Each character in this unit and each character in the chosen allied unit may dash towards the chosen character. Really like this. The general theme for the Ewoks is going to be that they are very much, very much the sort of early game kind of play style. They're very, very quick out the mark. They get up close and personal really, really quickly. They've got some really cool stuff, but they do lack... look how far this man has fallen, hasn't played Shatterpoint in years. Indeed. But they do lack a little bit of durability and a little bit of stamina across the board. So they are going to taper off. So it needs to be hard hitting and quick winning. You really want to be aiming to get that first struggle and then push that advantage and get the second struggle quite quickly with these guys. Active ability number 1, Hunting Horn. It's going to cost 1 force. It's going to be an action. Not often that we see active abilities that are action, but action. Each enemy within 3 that is not engaged gains pinned. Each enemy unit within 3 that is engaged gains expose. It's pretty damn good. It is pretty darn good indeed. For only one force, being able to dish that out is absolutely huge. And remember, guys, it's each enemy unit. So supporting characters, it doesn't matter, right? If one of them gets it, the other one gets it. A little bit like the sort of, who is it as the reverse one, doesn't he? Oh man, Mace Windu's Pons. There we go. Pons as a kind of reverse one. It works in the same way. So each enemy unit within 3 that is not engaged gains pinned. Each enemy unit within 3 that is engaged gains exposed. That is huge. Absolutely huge. And then lastly, he has a stealthy approach. 1 force again. Each character in this unit may dash. Then this unit may gain hunker or immediately make a focus action. I really like this because it gives you the option of one or the other. Many times you will do the dash with something like this and you'll end up being in range 2, so you're engaged, so that hunker does nothing. But the fact that you get to make a focus action, I think is really nice indeed. So let's scroll down a little bit and let's take a look at Wary Vigilance. So he's a 5/5 on his ranged, and he is a 7/6. Oh, he's a 7/6 on his melee. I mean, that is crazy. And I get that they have to balance the, character balance, or the balance of the game is more important than representing the actual power level of a character in the game. but giving him 7/6 is just crazy. God Murder Bear. Exactly. So his expertise, he's going to get a hit and a damage on 1 to 2 for his ranged, and then on a 3+, he's going to get a crit and a damage. So it's okay. It's okay. But on his melee, for 1 to 2, he gets 2 hits. For 3, he gets strikes. He gets 2 strikes. On a 3, he gets a crit and a strike. And then on a 4+, he gets 2 crits and 1 strike. That's really good, guys. That is really good. And then lastly, on his expertise, for defensive, for 1 to 2, he's going to get 1 block and then 1 crit to a hit, or a strike, sorry. And then on 3+, 2 blocks and a crit to a strike. His combat tree, again, is really good. A shove on 1 is great. If a shove on 1 is really good. A shove, a strain, and another shove on 2 is on 3, exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. This guy is an absolute little murder bear. Do not let those furry features fool you, because he is very good indeed. So what has he got on there? What's he able to dish out damage wise? He's maxing out at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage, up to 8 at ranged. But realistically, he isn't going to get all 5 through at ranged. So then 7 damage in melee, which is pretty darn good. He's got an expose in there. He's also got a pin in there. So I suppose he could up his damage if he's already dished out the pin, for example, or the exposed. But this is just brutal, like absolutely brutal. Who will win, Savage Oppressed, Night Brother Supreme, or a stuffed toy? I think the stuffed toy might take it. I think it might just take it. It's definitely the coolest character. We know that for sure. So yeah, guys, that is wicked. Like I said, I'm going to be breaking down each of the other Ewoks that we've had released over the next week or so. I just wanted to do one on here because I appreciate I haven't done one for quite a while. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, just a quick one as well, guys. We are going to be announcing the painting competition. We are bringing back the painting competition. What I'm going to do, guys, because I've been a little bit rubbish and I haven't picked winners, I'm going to try and pick some winners as I'm talking from the last two, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get around to it. But anyone that submitted from the last ones is going to get carried over into this one's. So if you submitted, when we do the giveaway, you're going to be able to get that, and it is going to be, guys, a bi-monthly giveaway. So we are going to be giving away 6 prizes throughout the year. So we're not going to give it away this month, but we're giving it away in February, and then we'll be giving it away in April, so on and so forth. And because we're going to be covering quite a lot of different things on the channel as well, guys, I wanted to make it a little bit more generic. So it is just going to be a $50 voucher, $50 Amazon voucher. If you want it in any other way, you can have it in whatever way you want. But rather than it being a pack of this or a pack of that or something, you can then use that $50. Please, please, please use it to buy some more miniatures. But, you know, if that $50 will help you out in some way, then use it for whatever you want. So, yeah, that's going to be the giveaway. We're going to be running it 6 times every other month. So, yeah, make sure that you stick around to the end, because I'll be announcing what the giveaway or what the painting competition is for this next 2 weeks. And the other change as well, guys, is that we want it to be something that you are painting right now. That is the plan. We want it to be something that you can paint over the next 2 weeks. So rather than it just being something that you pull off your table that you've had painted for months and months or years and years, we want it to be something that you're painting right now. So it'd be great to see some in-progress shots as well, especially if you've built some custom base and things around it like that process that you've got. So you can submit up to 4 pictures. So that's the rule now, up to 4 pictures. And you need to let us know, why you've chosen that one. But again, the themes are going to be a little bit more generic because we are covering multiple game systems. But you can submit entries from other game systems as well. So even if we're not covering it on this channel, it's just whatever you are painting right now. It doesn't have to be something that we name and say it's got to be an Ewok or something like that. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the old world, because that is the 3rd game now, guys, that we are going to be covering. Excuse me, apologies. That is the 3rd game that we are going to be covering on the channel. I love old world. We've been fortunate enough, me, Quinn, Kendo, Glyn, Swedish Troll, we've been lucky enough that we've managed to play quite a few games already. I've been testing out my Dark Elves. That is the army that if you guys remember that, if you've ever seen the first ever video, I should probably even try and get it up. The first ever video that I did. Maybe we do a little reaction now of it. Let me pull this up here. My channel. View your channel. Videos. Oldest. Let's do this. Let's embarrass myself and do this here. Let me pull this up right now. Here we go. Here we go. Look, guys, at this handsome young devil. When I was young and naive, didn't know. Oh, hang on. It helps if I actually share the screen, doesn't it? I was young and naive. I didn't know anything about YouTube at the time. But on this first ever video, this was my old intro. Let's play this. This is Rich Mid Gaming. In this video,
I put my headphones on a second.
How I first got into the hobby and what you can expect from this channel. And wow, it was so loud. It was so loud, that opening bit. I had this really weird like intro. It was like made by like Placeit or something. My audio was really quiet. My video was really loud. It's actually not a bad little intro, but yeah, it was far too loud. I remember first walking past and then gazing through the window of my local. My haircut's not changed. I must have been about 11. I think I've lost a little bit of weight. I was amazed by what was on display. Dark Elves. Here we go. So this is the first ever miniature I bought. Dark Elves Warhammer Fantasy. We worked it out the other day that it was 4th edition that I first bought, or that I first got into. And oops. Yeah, 1st edition that I first ever got into. And I've never really liked Age of Sigmar. I bought a couple of miniatures a while back, but never got into it. Just really didn't like the game. So when Old World was announced, I was super excited. And I, of course, am playing my Dark Elves. Why would I not? My only concern with them is that they are very much an unsupported army. So because of that, they are susceptible to power creep in that they won't creep and everybody else will. So, yeah, sorry, I just got a notification from YouTube then, which was a little bit weird. Let me scroll down then, guys, and let's take a quick look. We're not going to go through everything here, but the one thing to note is there are no characters for any of these legacy lists. They're not getting their supplement, so they're not getting a supplement, so they're not going to get any named characters. It says characters there, but none of them are named. So we've got Dark Elf Nobles, which are the Dreadlord and the Master. We've got Dark Elf Sorceresses, the High Beastmasters, and then we've got the Death Hags and the Knight Assassins. So plenty of characters to choose from. They all do very different things. One of the things I love about fantasy, as well as playing the game, is list building, like going through, and it's so more intricate than other games that I play. With Marvel Crisis Protocol, for example, it's just 10 characters. They could all be 6 threat if you wanted, or be 2 threat or whatever. With Shatterpoint, there's a little bit more to it. You've got a points limit that is brought by your primary character for each squad, or each strike team, sorry. But with Old World, you're sat manipulating, taking 10 points off here and going, okay, what does it look like if I remove the shields off these guys? Because they really need shields. Okay, there's 25 of them. I've just got 25 points back. Right, that now means that I can afford to get a magic item for my Knight Assassin or something like that. So I absolutely love building lists in the Old World, or for rank and file games, and I've absolutely loving playing Old World at the moment. Still haven't managed to play a game in person. I'm going to maybe try and sneak a game in on Friday at my local gaming store, but failing that, I am going to play a game against Ron next Wednesday. I may even see if he doesn't mind us recording that. We probably won't, put it out fully, but just little snippets of it, not as a full battle report, but more as like a learn to play thing. But we'll see. I'll see what happens with that one. So I love the Knight Assassins. They've featured very heavily in most of my lists that I've been building. And I haven't done anything with the Beastmasters yet. Haven't done anything with the Hags. I very much like my sort of Dark Elf Noble list, right? So I'm running Black Dragons, I'm running Cold Ones, I'm running Reaper Bolt Throwers. I'm running ranks and files of not Dread Spears anymore, because they're not called Dread Spears, Dark Elf Warriors. You know, I'm running lots of repeater crossbowmen. I tend to stay away from the other side of it, the sort of witch elf stuff. I did buy myself the Cauldron of Blood. So I do have a Cauldron of Blood. It's still in its box. You can either use it as a Blood Rakshine or a Cauldron of Blood that your hag can use as a mount as well. And I do have, I managed to pick up, guys, I traded in lots of my, well, I traded in a lot of my Star Wars Legion stuff because I wasn't playing it. I got a whole bunch of Dark Elf crossbowmen, and I got about 50 or so metal witch elves. So the plan is to eventually, try the witch elves out. I've also got some of the sister people, I can't remember their name, that work with them as well. They're sort of more of the elite units. And I'll maybe get some Doomfire Warlocks or something like that as well. But right now, I am very much sticking to the other side of it. Has Rich covered the other Ewok units in other videos? I'd love an overview of the faction. I have not, Patrick, but I am going to be doing them as individual videos. Hopefully, fingers crossed, over the next 2 or 3 days. So you'll hopefully get at least one this week, and then a couple next week as well. So I am going to be doing them, absolutely. And then Patrick, what I'm also going to be doing is kind of faction overviews. Now we've got a few of them in there. We're going to be doing faction overviews under a primary character. So a little bit like what we've been doing. That again, we're going to be continue to do as well on MCP. With the sort of faction breakdowns. You know, the latest one was, you know, you guys really responded well to those videos, but, you know, Green Goblins, Spider Foes, for example, it might be Obi-Wan's Galactic Republic. I completely lost there. So things like that we're going to take a look at and do more of a holistic overview of the faction rather than the individual characters. But we are going to be doing individual character breakdowns as well. So rest assured, my health is a lot better than what it was. I've actually got another review tomorrow. I'm hopefully going to be going on to some other medication as well, which should hopefully help. So I feel like after that break I had almost a month off. I'm in a much, much better position now. So I am going to be doing more videos as well. So yeah, so on to the Dark Elves, guys. Again, I'm not going to do a big, deep dive overview, that sort of thing. Because, you know, I'll leave that to separate videos. One thing I will show you is a couple of lists that I've put together that I've been playing. This is my 1,000-point list. Let me just pull this up here because it doesn't like to do this fully. Just move this over ever so slightly. So we are, guys, doing a slow grow league. So we're doing a slow grow league at the moment. So for anyone interested getting into the old world, let me pull up the event here and then let me send it to you guys in the chat. The reason it is a slow grow, or the reason it is a slow grow league, is not because we're all sat there painting our miniatures up or anything like that, but it's just a way of being able to learn the game. We've been learning the game. So there you go. There's the link. Completely free to join, guys. It's going to be all hosted on TTS. So if you want to join in the Slow Grow League, make sure you go and check it out. These are a couple of lists that I've done. So this is my list for my Slow Grow League. So that start off with 1,000 points. Week 2, we go up to 1,500. Week 3, we go up to 2,000. Week 4, we go up to 2,500. And we may even go a little bit higher as well. You don't need a deep dive. All you need is your dragon, right? Absolutely. So 999 points out of 1,000. I've got my Dark Elf Dreadlord. He obviously has some shenanigans, guys. Hand weapon, full plate armor. He's got a shield. He's got his black dragon, and he's got the pendant of Caliph, which gives him a 5-up ward save on strength 4 or less attacks, and a 4-up ward save on strength 5 or higher attacks, and then a giant blade, which just helps him do some nice damage there as well. 2 units of repeater crossbowmen. They've both got shields, and then 16 a unit of 16 black guard of Nagarond, and that is it. That is all I am taking. The thing that we've learned so far in the game is that the big beasts are very, very good, and they do a hell of a lot of damage. So much so that I have my new list here that I've been playing called Double Dragon, where we've got a Dark Elf Dreadlord with lance, full plate armor, shield, sea dragon cloak on a black dragon, and then we've got a Supreme Sorceress also on a black dragon. So I'm playing around with the battle magic, with the laws of magic at the moment as well. I've played a game with battle. I've played a game with demonology. My favourite at the moment is the battle out of the 2 that I can use, but I am going to be trying out the other 3 as well over the next week or so. We've also got a couple of units of Dark Elf Warriors in here. We've got some Repeater Crossbowmen. We've got some Harganath. And then I tried out the Shades. I really like these guys. They have Vanguard, so they can come in. Sorry, they have Ambushers, so they can come in late, and they can deploy anywhere or on any board edge as long as they're not within 8 of an enemy. So yeah, really, really like these guys. Like I said, guys, we're not going to do a deep dive on the Dark Elves. I'm going to be posting some pictures in the community space as well, giving you updates as and when the painting is coming along. I've got about 3,000 or 4,000 points now of Dark Elves. I had nothing 2 weeks ago. So I have a huge backlog of models to paint. The nice thing is that because they're rank and file, because they're a little bit smaller, they are that little bit quicker to paint up. So it does make it that little bit easier. I've got some... I'm actually not using contrast paints. I actually bought, guys, or as part of my trading, because I traded in a lot of stuff at one of my local gaming stores, a place called Murfield Miniatures. And he had one of these, the 2.0 Army Painter Speed Paint Mega Set. It's like 120 quid or something like that, but I had credit to spend with him. I put a little bit of money towards it as well. And I've got to say, guys, super impressed with these so far. Really impressed. So these little cold ones, for example, they're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but these were a really simple Zenithal. So black prime, grey from like sort of this angle, and then just a little spray of white on top. And then the green that they've got, the Orc Skin green. Oh no, sorry, it was the Gunner Camo green, so the darker green. And then literally just dry brushed a little bit of lime green on top from Vallejo. And, it looks really good. And then once I pick out all the little details on it, I think it'll look really nice. I'm going to be using acrylic paints for the rest of this. But the one thing I've been really impressed with are the metallics of this range as well. Not even using them as speed paints, but just using them as normal paints. They've been really good. So yeah, there we go, guys. That is almost wrapping it up for this episode. Let me know, guys, what other topics you would like to cover. So Old World, Shatterpoint, and MCP are going to be the 3 main ones, but we won't be doing something on them every week. There might not always be something to do. I'm going to give sporadically, updates on my my board game as well that I've been building. And again, if anybody out there wants to help me out and would like to beta test a board game, please reach out, let me know. I can add you to a group and we can get you set up and running with it. Because it is another one of my goals for this year, is to actually finish and have a physical copy of my board game in hand. If I can do that this year, I would be very, very happy indeed. Okay, so let me know in the comments, what other stuff would you like us to cover on here? All right, the idea of this is that it's a bit of a just chatting type session. We'll have some specific topics, but then any questions you've got, so any viewer questions, I'm going to set up a channel where you can submit viewer questions, or you can DM me them as well, and I'll pick some out and I'll try and answer them the best that I can. Painting competition, guys. Well, in honor of my Dark Elves, this 2 months painting competition, because it is going to be 2 months, is going to be anything with purple accents. So I love me some purple. That's one of my favourite colours, but also it's what colour Dark Elves should be painted. So anything this month, guys, with a purple accent, a purple twang, all purple, anything that you're painting. And remember, it doesn't need to be MCP, doesn't need to be Shatterpoint, it doesn't need to be the old world. It can be anything. It could be a 3D print, it could be a bust, it could be some terrain that you're painting, it could be some space marines, it could be absolutely anything. So we're going to be running it over the next 2 months. We will pick a winner, and that winner will win themselves a $50 Amazon voucher. So, yep, get your entries in. And again, it has to be something that you're painting right now. You have to paint it over this 2 month period. So, yep, again, I don't know if I've set a channel up yet, but I will do. I need to set a new channel up on the Discord server for Wednesday Night Live. So, yeah, get your entries in, and we'll... In fact, sorry, no, the way we're going to do it is I'm going to pick a winner each show. So we'll change it each show. And then when we do the overall winner, it'll be a prize draw from one of the people that submitted an entry. That's the way that we are. That's the way that we are doing it. So yeah, there we go, guys. We're going to leave it there. I've got some painting to do. Maybe even do a couple of live streams over the next few weeks. But keep an eye out, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And as always, it leaves me just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.